I got my West Point. You can't see it though. Wait, let's see.
Yeah. There you
Got
go.
my West Point sweatshirt on.
Hi, Coach.
Now you can't see my
Thank,
head. Okay,
thank
go
you
ahead.
so much for joining me for this interview. We really appreciate your time. I'm going to hop right in on the questions. So first, why don't you tell the story of how you came to be the head coach of the women's basketball team at Army, and why did you say yes?
Well, I was right out of college. I got a job at Dana Hall in Wellesley teaching phys ed and coaching every sport to include freshman basketball. Uh, and and I was the freshman coach, I'm sorry, the JV coach at Northeastern. And after a year, I was able to, there was a women's pro league, and I was able to try out for a team. And I actually got on the New York Stars. So I played in the first women's pro league. I ended up playing on four different teams during the 79 to 81, Philadelphia, New Jersey, and New England, as well as New York. And then my team, the New England team folded in um, December of, I think it was 81. And so I got the opportunity to go to Iona College, and Iona College as an assistant because she lost her assistant in the middle of the year. And that summer, I coached the Empire State Games in the Scholastic Division, and my head coach and Harold Johnson were coaching in the College Division or Open Division. And so me and the coach, I was Carol Shackner, and I were coaching Scholastic. Sandy and Harold were coaching the Open, and we all hung out together we were coaching the Hudson Valley, and so I got to know Harold. And then Harold had a position open. So after a year and a half of coaching at Iona, I think
Hmm?
it was a year of coaching at Iona, I actually went to I think at the time I was making $10,000 at Iona as an assistant coach, and then I was the freshman lacrosse coach at Scarsdale High School that year. And then I went the following year to Army for 15,000. It was a big raise for me. So, but that wasn't it. I mean, the attraction was, I was curious. I didn't know anything about the military. I had all these uh, misconceptions about it, but it seemed like a great opportunity. And Carl Ulrich was so nice to me, and of course Harold was. And anyway, I jumped at the opportunity. It was great. It was a great decision.
We're so glad that you did. What was your initial vision for the West Point women's basketball program when you started, and how did that vision evolve over your pretty long tenure?
Well, I really wanted to have a system of like a defensive system and an offensive system. And I got this tape, and I didn't know anything about this. I just knew I wanted to do something a little different, which was mine. And Dick Bennett, who was the coach at Wisconsin, was known for his defense. His son, Tony Bennett, coached at Virginia and recently retired.
Yep.
So, he was a defensive wizard. Anyway, I was able to get a tape of that defense, and I from that tape I learned the defense. But even better, when I was hiring my staff, Mark Schmidt came to apply, and he ran that defense at Tulsa, who had just canceled their women's program, so he lost his job. So it was perfect. So he came, and really between the tape and learning, because I told him what I wanted to do, he was running that system, so it really worked out great. So we implemented the program, that system, and I know the players got sick of it, but it was the fun. I was thinking about this when we probably practiced against ourselves, right? It was 5 weeks. You're just going every day. You're doing drills over and over, and the players that played for me know what we did every day. But when we went down, I think it was our first competition and played in a Northern Kentucky tournament. Um, it was amazing. They just did so great, and they just outplayed everybody. Their defense was unbelievable. And they played great team defense. And we went on to win the Empire State Conference. And we were always in the top in scoring defense during that time. And even in Division 1. In fact, in Division 2, we were #1 in the country one year in scoring defense. So I think the thing about the defense was I knew that would uh, really help us to be successful because working hard. We didn't always have the best athletes, but we had a great work ethic, and as you know, the players at West Point are pretty smart at picking up things. And they were. And as much as I know they hated it, I think they loved winning.
Yeah, winning is great.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
exactly.
how did that change over time? Did you keep that defense in your whole time?
Um, I did until I didn't, which looking back, of course, it was a mistake. I didn't do all the things I was doing to win. And I think yeah, that really was it. I stopped doing the things that were fundamental to our success, and that really hurt us. But at the time, I made some decisions I probably regret now. Yeah.
So tell us what were the unique challenges and opportunities of coaching at West Point and how
Well, I think there were two challenges. One is the outside. I thought recruiting was a challenge. But I always felt like we had a great shot if I could get a player on campus for a visit, because I think a visit at West Point is like no other college visit.
Mhm.
And the professors you meet, the cadets, the team, the players, I mean, they were everybody was just so friendly and nice. And I think it dispelled any idea that recruits had about what it would be like. I think it really opened their eyes. So I thought we had a good chance when we could get them on post. The other thing was internally, I was always trying to elevate the program, get better facilities, better uniforms, more coaches, play in Crystal Arena. And I think I was probably I think about this. I'm not really sure, but it seemed like because I was there when we were in Central Gym. We had the dungeon, we had the locker, we were in
Yep.
the locker room downstairs in the basement. The team room was that little room with the chalkboard where Harold used to do his. So, there was so much transition. I wanted more coaches. I wanted uh, more coaches. I wanted better salaries. I wanted to play in Crystal Arena all the time, not just against Navy. I wanted to have this, I wanted a team room. I wanted to have a better locker room. I wanted all these things. So I think those were the internal challenges. And eventually, by the time I left, we had mostly everything. I know we didn't have comparable, maybe staffs and salary yet when I left, but we had made some progress. We made a lot of progress actually from the time I was Harold's assistant to the time I left. There was a lot of transition. And of course, now I see the program and the locker room and everything they have is spectacular. Everything's state of the art. So it's great, and it's great to see. And they've been hiring wonderful coaches, you know. And
Definitely.
Dave did a great job all those years.
So you coached the Army team for many, many years. What were the key milestones and successes for your program that most define your coaching career at Army?
I think in the earlier years, we were definitely a force we were competitive in the Empire State Conference, but then we went from Division 2 to Division 1, and um in the Patriot League. The thing that was really hard is, most of the schools did not have scholarships in the beginning except for Holy Cross. So Holy Cross was the dominant team, and I can remember, I think it was our first year in the conference that we took Fordham to double overtime. And I remember Kim Kawamoto played every minute of that game.
Wow.
And I just remembered how exhausted the players were. They just played so hard and we beat them. But we finished late that day, and then the next day we had to play Holy Cross at
Mhm.
1 in the afternoon, and our kids were spent. And Holy Cross was really strong. They had some great players, but we always played them well, and I think now there's more parity in the conference, where everybody's on scholarship. We're recruiting comparable, or as we've been able to win the conference, as we did with Maggie, we did with Dave, and this year with Missy coaching, we were able to go to the finals. So we've been able to be competitive where it was difficult in the early years.
Definitely. Can you tell me about the decision when we moved from Division One to Division Two? Do you know, were you part of that decision?
Yeah, that was another transition. We went from we were Division 2, and then I feel like we were in the MAC conference for a year, I want to say, or was it Fordham was in our conference, that's right. And then they left. Um uh yeah, Mr. Ulrich made the decision to put us in Division 2 for a
Hmm.
few years, which I was kind of disappointed about. I wanted to be Division 1. But we ended up playing the Empire State Conference for 3 or 4. I'm not sure. I think it was 3 or 4 years. So when some of those players that we had when they came, we were Division 2, and then we just jumped to Division 1 with the same players. So it was challenge. It was a challenge, definitely. I mean, it was another transition for us. But we were kind of in a state of flux. I think women's basketball was in had made a lot of changes all through the 80s and through the 90s, at least the early 90s anyway,
Definitely.
which was most of my tenure.
How has the sport of women's basketball changed over the past 45 years? And how did those changes over your tenure affect your program and your coach?
Well, I mean, clearly, I mean, we didn't always have the best athletes, but I'll tell you, so many times we beat teams that were more athletic than us, or if we played, sometimes we didn't win, but we played some of these upper tier Division 1 schools very strong. I remember we gave DePaul a heck of a game out at DePaul.
Mhm.
Um, we beat some really good teams that maybe we shouldn't have if you looked at us, but we were, not to slight the players. I mean, we had some really fine players in our program, and I just think that over the years the transition. Look, if all you have to do is watch the NCAA tournament, which you did this year, the women's, to see that the athletes are bigger, stronger, quicker, more fit, the programs. I did a tour of University of Michigan when we played them in football. I went out there and I got a private tour of the from the women's basketball coach out there.
Mhm.
And the facilities are just incredible, and special nutrition programs and everything scientifically calculated, and trainers, and uh, well, now I think you have coaches for the NIL and the portal even. So it's really changed significantly. But I mean, and now of course with the players going into the WNBA, which they have been for 25 years, you can even see the evolution of the WNBA if you've been following it. The players just keep getting better and better. And good athletes are having good athletes, they're raising good athletes. They're getting married, and then they have these spectacular athletes. I remember Allison Feaster, who we played from Harvard.
Mhm.
Okay. She um her daughter actually plays at UConn now. She's spectacular. She's a incredible player. And Allison Feaster, when she played for Harvard, they beat Stanford in the NCAA tournament. That's how good she was.
Wow.
And now her daughter, and she married a basketball player. and now her daughter is super play. Now I can't think of her. Sarah Strong. Is it Strong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's her daughter. I
Wow.
mean, and you watch her play and you're like, holy cow. But it doesn't surprise you because you see, I mean, she's amazing. But the point is that the athletes are just better, and we have better coaches too. I mean, just across the board. The coaches are better, facilities support, fan support, which is great. We needed the support. We needed people to watch the game. And now Caitlin Clark has really influenced what has been going on.
Definitely. You mentioned the NIL and the transfer portal. What do you think the unique challenges of coaching in that environment are?
Well, unfortunately, I think it has really, there is no level playing field anymore. There won't be because these players are going to where the money is. You look at Van Lith, who went to Louisville, then she went to LSU, and then she went to TCU.
Yep.
Um, the better players are going to go where the money is, and the bigger schools are going to get the money. The other thing is, if you're unhappy because of your playing time, you just go into the portal,
Right?
you know? So it's not, I even saw Army football lost 8 players to the portal this year, which I was really surprised at. So I just think between the NIL and the portal, there's going to be less loyalty to the schools, and it's hard. I think that's a hard thing. You want to have a play. You've seen players. I mean, even at Army, there are some players um that were so great when they were at Kevin Houston, for
Right.
one.
Mhm.
Julie Del Giorno,
Mhm.
I mean, 4 years there, Katie,
Farland. Yeah.
yeah, McFarland, I mean, if she had left, what about Kelsey Minato? What if she left after 1 year? You know, I mean, these players made their mark on the institution. Now that's not going to happen.
Mhm. Yeah. Travesty.
Yeah.
What advice, there's a new coach now at Army for the women's team. What advice would you give the new coach?
I tell you what, I think it's very important to have, especially at West Point, to have your players meet the alums, have a close relationship with the alumni, get them to events, really cultivate them. I think it's so important to keep the alumni classes involved and make sure that they know the players and the players get to know them, because I think that's how you keep the players when they can see what these women have done in their careers. I think that keeps them there when they see, wow, look what look what Cara Dimitropoulos did. You know, look what Kim Kawamoto did. Look what Kim Hansen did. Look what Dawn Halfaker did. I mean, I can name so many people that were so Melody Smith, Leanne Duhosky. I'll just name them. I could name so many of them. I just, when they look at the players and what they've accomplished after they left West Point, I think it's inspiring to the players to really keep that close contact. That would be, for me, that's the most important thing.
That's
And I
awesome.
really tried to do that when I was there, is keep the alumni involved.
You
I
did.
think,
You did. It was great. Okay, now you're still a basketball player, which I think is phenomenal. And I would love for you to tell us all about your 3-on-3 championship basketball team. And, how did you get involved? How successful has the team been over time? Just give us the story.
well, I love what Pat Summitt said. She loved basketball, but what did she say? Basketball loved her back. And I think that's been true for me, because um when I was in my 50s, I met a woman from Massachusetts who said, "You want to play on our senior basketball team?" And because they were allowed to have one player from out of state, and I was like, Really? And I went to the first tournament. It was the mass because a lot of the states have state tournaments. So my first exposure was the Massachusetts State Games, and I walked in the gym and I saw all these women playing. I was like blown away. I couldn't believe it. So that was the beginning, and I started playing. And as time went on, in 2013, our team evolved into the Connecticut Classics. And it turns out that four of us played in the WBL. The first one was Pro League, and one of our players played internationally. So we had really five former professional players. And we have been able to play in since 2013. We've won six national championships, which has been so fun. Which the most recent one was this July. We won our age. Uh, we won the 65s, but we won in the 55s, the 60s, the 65s, and in 22 we won this gold medal in 60s and 65s, and we've been playing, and now we play internationally. We played in Puerto Rico 2 years ago. We played in Madrid last year, and this year we played in Switzerland in the World Championships, and it was fantastic. It was so much fun. There were 465 teams, men and women, ages 30 to 80, and we played in 26 different sites. And we stayed in the southern part called Ticino in Switzerland. It was the Italian part, and we got to see so much of Switzerland, and it was amazing. And so now we're eager to go back. So this year we're going to go to Greece. I mean, next year we're talking about going to Greece. And actually, we merged with a couple players out because not everybody on my team, on my Connecticut team, could go to Europe or wanted to go to Europe because it's full court. Now,
Wow.
when we play out of the country, we play full court FIMBA rules, and so it's 5-on-5, and we play. So we picked up Lisa Hamill, who actually is a grad of not a grad, but she did go to West Point for 2 years. She came in '78 to
Yep.
West Point, so I've gotten to know her real well. So we're buddies. And then another couple players from San Diego. And then we combined with 4 or 5 players from my Connecticut Classics team, and we went over to Switzerland. And now we are going to go to Greece to play in the European games.
That's
We can't win a medal, but we can compete because we're not European.
oh,
But we
but they let
still
you.
want to go. But I think the next World Championships are the year after, and those are going to be in Argentina. So we're talking about that. I hope I can play. I mean, I'm older than everybody else, so my knees are not in the best shape. I've had a couple of replacements, but I'm still playing. I'm still playing, and I can't tell you how much I love it. I mean, I tell college kids, don't ever quit playing because you'll never get the opportunity again. And if you can play, to all you players who are past college and you're out there working, I know Julie Shellhouse wanted to play, and Dawn Ripplemeyer talked about playing. They mentioned that they wanted to do it. Any of you guys who really love basketball like I do, you can play. And I know there's a lot of you guys that are 50 and over right now. I know there's a lot of grads who would love to play again, and it's not like you're playing people like it's not the same competition as when you were in college. Everybody's older, not just you, everybody else is too. So it's so much fun. And Dina, you've been there. You've
Yeah.
played a couple times, so I
Yeah.
know you know what it's like.
How could people get started? Just as a last question for
Just
one.
go online, go to the National Senior Games, contact me. I'd love to talk to anybody. I mean, I don't have a lot of contact with all the players, but I've some of them I talk to once in a while. And then but you could contact National Senior Games or your own state wherever you live. Look up, Connecticut State Games or Colorado State Games or state tournaments, and look up basketball. And most states have them. And if they don't have them in your state, you can always play in another state. And teams are always looking for players. So you can always find a team to hook up with in another state. My team's from Texas, California, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. And we don't really practice, but we play. But we play. I mean, we are so used to each other. We've been playing together for 12 years now.
Amazing.
It's been fun.
Well, thank you, Coach.